Good evening, class. Good. In our lesson today, we're going to discuss dysfunctional family and the children. Dysfunctional family and the children. But before I get any interaction with you, let us see what our learning objectives for tonight is. We are hoping that at the end of our discussions, we will be able, or we will try to define and draw a line of distinction between functional and dysfunctional families. And then also we try to identify the characteristics of children in dysfunctional families. And hopefully we will also identify steps to take to help dysfunctional families to make changes. Right. Now, we're going to discuss dysfunctional family and the children, as I've said. But I want to find out if you have any knowledge or any understanding of dysfunctional family. In other words, when we say dysfunctional family, what is it? Can anybody help us? Yes.
So, when a family is not able to meet the basic needs of a typical family due to some internal or external factors, we say that that family is dysfunctional.
Very good. So the family where basic needs are not met, then we can describe the family to be dysfunctional. And also, yes.
I also add that I think that dysfunctional family is a family that is not that is incorrectly organized, and to that effect has hindered what every family or a good family should have been able to have in terms of the relationship with children, relationship with husband and wife, and the whole family as a unit.
Very good. I like the word you use. Things are not well, and things are not going on well in the family. That is, the members of the family are not experiencing what they are supposed to experience for a standard family. Then we say that that family is dysfunctional. Now let's see what the definition says, or how we will define it. We are saying that dysfunctional family is a family with multiple internal or external influences that affect the basic needs, the basic needs of the family unit. So we have the family unit, and there are things that will make the family work. And when some of these things are affected or are not provided, then we say that that family is dysfunctional. And we say that we have the internal influences and also the external influences. There are things that will happen from within the family, and it will cause a level of imbalance. Then we say that that family is dysfunctional, but the influences are internal. And then there are those that will also cause that imbalance, but it is from the external sources. So we can say that the internal influences are sibling rivalries, a family in which the members do not relate well, and they seem to be fighting one another, maybe bullying here and there. That type of family, we say that it is having internal influences that is making it dysfunctional. Then also when there are parent-child conflict, the parents and the children are in a level of conflict. That one, we can also say that there is a level of dysfunctionality. Then when there is domestic violence, either the parents are even fighting themselves at the full glare of the children, or the children are fighting themselves. That one, we can also say that it's an internal dysfunctional or internal influence that is causing dysfunctionality. And when there is mental illness, psychological problems that members of the family are facing, they are psychologically imbalanced. And as long as they are not that balanced, they are not able to function well. And you see that the family is not on its proper footing. Then when there is single parenthood, maybe one person taking care of the members of the family, the father side is not being added to the contributions of the mother, come what may, there will be a level of imbalance, and the family will be said to be dysfunctional. And then also there are the external influences such as alcohol or drug abuse. There may be the parents who are drug addicts, and when the parents are in such type of life, definitely they are not able to make things work better. But we are saying that that is external influence. It is the parents who are doing that, but its effect will be shown on the family. And then also when there is extramarital affairs, when the parents are not living up to expectation as expected of them, and they indulge in external or extramarital affairs, its consequence will be also shown on the family. When there is gambling, and when there is also unemployment, all these external factors can bring a level of dysfunctionality, because things which will make things work better for the family will be lacking somewhere, and the family will not see what they are supposed to be. Now let's take the pain to look at the causes of dysfunctions in families. We can say that family history of dysfunction. What is the background of the mother? What is the background of the father who have come together? Were they brought up from a good home, from a home which was functional? If they were brought up from homes which were not functional, then they are likely to replicate the same system in the family they are building. So that is why we say that the family history will also have a part. And then the medical problems in the family where there are illness, maybe chronic disease or a level of infirmity in a member of the family, the whole family will be affected. There will be a level of imbalance. Let's take, for instance, someone is disabled and he will need the attention of a member of the family. When this member is attending to this disabled family member, it is going to affect his or her time, doing his or her own thing. And then also that very person is not able to do things for himself. So the whole family structure is going to be affected. So when there is illness or medical problems, it can cause a level of dysfunctionality. Then mental illness, psychological challenges. We've made mention that there are internal influences and there are also external influences. If any of the internal influences is causing a level of psychological problem in the home, you see that the family are not going to be functional. And then also when there are addictions, we made mention as part of the external influences, that is drug addiction or alcohol addiction, and there can even be food addiction. When we have these, they can all cause dysfunctionality in the family. And life situations can also cause dysfunctionalities in the family. Now, let's look at characteristics of dysfunctional family. But before we do that, we've at least listed a number of causes. I want you to think through the causes of dysfunctionality. And this is how you're going to do it. You're going to think first on your own, and then you pair with a partner, and you discuss your thoughts with that person. So the two of you will pair, and then you also will pair, and then you two will pair. But let me give you 1 minute, having gone through the causes of dysfunctions in family. Think through, and then you use 1 minute to share your thoughts. Yeah, so let me see you thinking. Put on your thinking caps. Yes. What are the causes of dysfunction or dysfunctional families? And we've made mention of 5 causes. Well, how do you see it? That it brings a level of dysfunctionality in the family. Yeah, I believe you've been able to conceive an idea. So I want you to pair with a partner and you discuss or you share your thoughts. Yeah, you share your thoughts.
Similar to this one. Yes, similar. But maybe the difference may be that.
Very good. I like the level of interaction that is going on. Very active class. All right. So can one volunteer to share with us what you have shared with your partner, who will help us having thought through and share with your partner? Yes. Are you ready to help us? All right, let's hear you.
Yes, we discussed about the causes of family dysfunction, as earlier said. We talk of family history as one of the causes of family dysfunction. That is when one of the parent or there is some sort of dysfunction. One of the parent has come from a family that has a dysfunction, is able to have an effect on the family. And then we have another cause being medical problem.
All right.
That is when one of them, when there is a medical problem in the family, like maybe disability.
Okay.
In mentally or whatsoever.
Yeah.
There is a disability or one way or the other. It also has an effect on the family.
All right. You also have something to share. Very good.
Yeah, we also talked on life situations.
Yes.
For instance, when the family is financially not sound,
Right.
it will definitely have effect on the schooling of the children. And
Good.
when some of the children can drop out of school,
Mm-hmm.
the family will not be able to provide the basic needs of the family, and this can, as a result, affect the family so much. And that's what we also thought of.
Very good. Right, so let's make progress. Having gone through this, I want us to watch a short clip where it's going to tell us 5 signs of toxic family. 5 signs of toxic family. So pay attention and let's see what the video will give us. Right. And it is a silent video, so let's watch the words as it rolls. You're not going to hear any sound. It is like a form of notes. So let's read as it rolls. Very good. I believe you were able to see something, and you've been able to identify the 5 signs of toxic family. Who can tell me anyone? Any of the signs? Yes, sir.
Who will I be dealing with today?
Who will I be dealing with today? Yes.
Gossip.
Gossip girls. Yes.
Hour of judgment.
The hour of judgment. And there's one that fascinates me so much, where there's the equation. When 1 + 1 is equal to 13, when there is something fundamentally wrong. All right. Good. So let's make progress. We're going to look at characteristics of dysfunctional family. Characteristics. We can say that poor communication is one of the characteristics of dysfunctional family. We know communication is the hub of every relationship. And when there is a family and the communication is not effective, and when we talk of effective communication, there is one major thing we need to consider. That is active listening. When I am speaking in the family, do I have the audience of the members of the family? And do I respect the people that I am communicating to or talking to? And do they also respect me as I also bring my views? When there is that level of disrespect, communication will be affected in the home, and we are not able to articulate our views. And if maybe the parents want the children to do something, we are not able to issue proper, I wouldn't say command, but directive. We are not able to do that. And then that family will not function well. Then another characteristic that we can think of is when there is drug or alcohol abuse. When we were looking at the internal influences or the external influences, we made mention of drug or alcohol abuse. And when we have abusive parents, parents who abuse drug, who abuse alcohol, and even abuse human beings, that is the members of the family, it also gives us a level of characteristics. Then also when there is perfectionism in the family, everybody wants everything to be done and done right. That is good. But when it gets to the extreme, it makes people in the family suffer, especially the children, because the standard has been set so high, and it is not every member of the family who can reach that standard. And when I'm not able to reach that standard, it will put a level of fear in me, timidity. Then I'm going to develop low self-esteem, which we shall come to know when we are discussing the effects on children. And then also we can think of lack of empathy. When there is lack of empathy, we do not think for one another. We do not feel for one another. We try not to put ourselves in the shoes of the other. So what is happening to one member in the family is not a concern to the other person. And a family of that nature, we can say that it is dysfunctional. And then also when there is control. It is good that control should be in the system. But when the control is so much, the parents are trying to be strong enough so far as dealing with the children or the members of the family is concerned. And maybe the siblings, because as part of the internal influences, when there is sibling rivalries, the elderly wants to control the young ones, and then the other trickles down. In such family, we will also see a level of dysfunctionality. And then when there is excessive criticism, the least thing I will do, other members of the family will comment. And if you remember the video, the Judgment Day, yes. All right. Now, what will be the effect of dysfunctionality on the children in the family? We are saying that they will be affected by way of steady problems in school. You see, there is a statement that charity begins at home. The home environment is what the child will carry to school. But he is in a home whereby there is no freedom to express yourself, and also there is no attention so far as the elderly is concerned. When I carry this mentality to the class, I'm not able to perceive whatever I'm going to be taught, because I have been brought up in a certain way that I am always shoving in my corner. So when I come to school, I see the classroom environment different thing. It is not portraying what I know in the home. Then I will suffer in a way. And then there will be a drift into drug or alcohol abuse. If you take, for instance, the parents who are drug addicts or who abuses alcohol or drug, and they are training the children in that direction, they will grow to become same, and they are going to suffer that. Then they will also be withdrawn and socially isolated. In the home, there is no proper integration. So when I step out into the community, I'm not able to integrate well with other members in the community, even in school, at class. And I will try to be isolated, and I live in myself, what we call compartmentalization. I try to find space for myself, but I do not allow other people to have access in my life. And then I will feel lonely and have difficulty expressing their feelings. That is, the members from a dysfunctional family, that is the children, they will feel lonely. In the home, communication is affected. We are not able to express ourselves as members of the family. So when I step out, I'm not able to do that. Why? Because I don't even know how to communicate and communicate well with other members. And then there will be the risk of developing depression. There is that possibility. I have issues and I am internalizing these issues. So I will grow with it and it will weigh me down. So when the family is dysfunctional, the children are likely to grow or develop depression. Then there will also be low self-esteem. And then there will be anxiety. I'm always looking up to something which is unpleasant, likely to happen to me. Why? Because there is no self-confidence. There is no internal strength. All I am being trained to come out with is a level of fear that will grip me. And the last thing that we can think of, the children are likely to suffer internally from self-rejection and self-criticism. So these are some of the characteristics of the children in a dysfunctional family. And I want you to consider this, and you list these characteristics in order of severity. That is per your understanding, order of severity. You list 4 or 5 of them, and let's see how you've understood it. Who would help us? Any volunteer? All right, so here is the marker, and you get to the board and you list either 4 or 5 for us to see in order of severity. Very good. I think we shall take the 4. So, from his point of view, these are the order of severity. The children are likely to drift into drug or alcohol abuse, and then low self-esteem and anxiety, and then there's likely to be steady problem in school. I believe we will all have our individual rating. Yeah, but one thing we need to understand is that there will be a level of effect of dysfunctionality in the family on the children. All right, let's see, when we identify such dysfunctionalities, how are we able to help the families to have a change? That is, we're trying to achieve our third learning objective. And what we think we can do: one, exposure of parents to internal and external factors that causes dysfunction. That is, we make an attempt to sort of teach the parents some basic principles of functional and dysfunctional family, especially the internal influences and then the external influences, how they will be able to conduct themselves so that they will not cause that problems to the members of the family. And then also intentional training of the family on effective communication. We've said that communication is the hub of every relationship, and the parents are to relate well with the children. Therefore, we need to take the pain to train the family, especially the parents, how they can communicate. And when there is effective communication, there will be cohesion in the family, and the family will become functional. And then also enhancing social skills in the family. When we are able to bring the family to the level where they are able to respect one another, integrate with one another, and they do things in common, they will carry this, and the children will not suffer isolation when they get into the general community. So these are what we can do to help the families to make the change. We will bring our discussions to a close, and by our presentation, we've been able to identify what a dysfunctional family and the distinction between functional and dysfunctional families, and we've also seen the causes of dysfunctional families and the characteristics of dysfunctional families, and then also the effect on the children. And with that, I believe we've been able to achieve our 3 learning objectives. We've been able to draw the line of distinctions, we've been able to see the characteristics, and then steps to help. I will be available if you need any assistance. I'll be available to help you. Thank you for your attention.